Let me explain whistle dicking. For those who might not be in the know, whistle dicking is when you're not doing anything so intensely that you're playing with your dick in such a fashion that it's waving through the air so rapidly that it's whistling in the air. So I just thought you might want to use that, or... So by that standard, most of the world is whistle dicking.
Yeah, no, that's when I went to the doctor last year, I had this ringing noise in my ear, and I was.
And it turns out that you were just listening to all the whistle dicking in the world.
Yeah, and I was like,
what was the prescription?
Prescription was just to put up with it. This is your new reality.
Hello, world. This is the New Low News Show. Good morning to you. It's 9:48 p.m. It's
Morning
good to have you back.
Subjective concept, though.
That is true. That is true. Introductions. On my left.
King Kobe.
On my right.
MC Graham.
And I am Adam. I will be main micing you tonight.
So, Adam,
fellas,
I can't wait to talk about this.
what are we talking about? I just woke up.
China.
China. I don't like China, but go on.
You don't like how this is started. Well, in China, they're building a big fucking thing. It's a big glowing ring. It's a piece of architecture. It's very tall, and you'll actually be able to travel, if you were in person with it, travel to the top of it and look across the countryside, city skyline. I'm not quite sure where it is, but
Okay.
you can look across the landscape.
I gotcha.
And it's fucking cool, but it's being criticized by some sort of technology writers.
But why, though?
Well, because they say China could be giving more money to the poor, they could be giving more food aid or building shelter instead of just architecture.
Oh, so reinvesting it in itself. That's what they could be doing with that kind of money, as opposed to just...
Yeah, why put people to work building just a spectacle, more or less?
What's the building used for?
I told you. I mean, it's a fucking glowing ring. How fucking rad is that?
No, I mean, is it like a government building?
Well, the guy, they paid for it.
Oh, well, I mean, no, is it like...
You can't go inside. I mean, I assume you can go inside too. They said you can get to the top.
Okay.
But you can't, there's no rooms.
Oh, so it's not even an apartment building.
No, it's just a piece of...
A movie theater.
No, it's not you can't do much of anything in it.
A pub. Anything.
A pub, though, that would make it cooler, but it's not a pub.
Is it a skate park? Can you use the ring for...
Oh, full pipe. No, unfortunately, it's not a skate. I don't know if they do that in China. That might be banned as a counter-revolutionary activity or something.
So, this is a ring...
It's a big ring of nothing.
Designed to be a ring.
Yeah.
And this is okay with you?
Well, I would prefer that China just take the money they have and just give it to people and not make them work.
Right.
I mean, most unemployed people need money.
Right. And some people, we call them economists. I think they're just assholes, personally. They say this would cause problems like inflation and all these things that they made up. And I don't believe that. But anyway, if we are going to make people work for money, because it inspires jealousy in their fellow man if they just get money without working, then we should put them to work. We should have them building, maybe not glowing rings all the time, maybe something cooler, you know?
Yeah, I mean, what else could we build with all this free labor we have lying around?
I'll tell you what. The space elevator.
This is my favorite subject.
Yeah, Graham, how do you feel about the space elevator?
I love the space elevator. Actually, I use the space elevator as my metric for determining whether people are making a productive use of their time or if they are just whistle-dicking. The way I look at human productive labor, you have human productive labor which does fuck all. You have human productive labor that builds something positive, and then you have the kind that destroys lives and ruins livelihoods. Unfortunately for me, as something of an isolationist, a considerable quantity of the money and time in America goes to
War,
blowing people up overseas.
War,
as Adam would say. And this is, I don't think it's a terribly good use of our time, and it's not very ethical because people in other parts of the world, they don't really want our input per se in how they should run their lives. Additionally, we don't have the ability to change the rest of the world as much as we think we do. This was dramatically illustrated by all of what we're doing in Afghanistan and Iraq.
So instead of spending our money on military adventure,
you could either do the whole ring.
Yeah, I say glowing rings in every state for starters. Just put America back to work.
Right, exactly. You go into Baltimore, see a glowing ring. Go to Philadelphia, see a glowing ring.
Right.
Go to New York, see a glowing ring. Boston, glowing ring. Washington, D.C., glowing ring. You could go that route. Or you could go the route of paying people to dig holes in the dirt and fill them back up again. I mean, I'm fine with either of those. Put people to work, give them money. The only alternative is the space elevator, which is, I believe,
the most ideal option.
Right, because you're constructing something which actually...
What is the space elevator? How does it work? Is it a personal elevator you can get in and travel into space?
One day, it will literally be that easy. You'll have like a skyscraper to the stars. But the space elevator is essentially a conveyor belt that takes freight from Earth to geosynchronous orbit, and it's built in such a... It's like literally built perpendicular to the Earth's surface. So, and it would be something that you could see from as far back as Pluto and beyond. It's like, wow, what's Earth doing with that weird sort of flagpole sticking off its side? And what this would do, the reason why it would be important, is that it could dramatically reduce the cost of carrying stuff into outer space. Right now,
I send up a big fucking rocket all the time.
Yeah, you have to spend a lot of fuel. You know, at NASA, they talk it's like $400 per kilogram of freight, whereas the space elevator could cut that cost by a tenth, or it could reduce it by 90 or 99%. And so this would allow humans to go off and explore the stars, which to me is important because otherwise we're just screwing around on this stupid planet Earth. So that's my whole take on the matter of infrastructure development. And
Adam, what would you spend money on if you were China and you had billions of dollars at your expense?
If I was China and I had billions and billions of dollars at my expense, I'm not quite sure what I would do. I mean, what is there to do in China?
Precisely.
I would probably get some Chinese food, or just over there. Yeah, over there it's just food. I'd probably just get some food.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and after that, I'd probably leave. I'm not gonna lie. If I had billions and billions of dollars and I was in China, it's like, why the fuck am I in China? The air is dirty. It's pretty unhealthy to stay there. That's also true. The dollar, there's other places I can go where my dollars go a little bit further, I would think.
Like Detroit or...
I was thinking South Africa. I heard a lot of stories from Graham when he was over there.
It sounded pretty awful.
Fleeing from the FBI.
Have you guys ever gotten on the internet? What? I mean, am I the only one? I get on it a lot.
I have no idea what you're talking about right now.
You never heard of it. The internet is kind of...
I remember back
it's like the phone, but there's a lot more people on it, like a whole lot more than one at a time.
So it's like a party line. They had these back in the 50s.
So it's like three-way calling.
Party line.
Yeah, it's like three-way calling.
No. Party line was actually like super three-way calling. You just pick up.
And there's more and more people.
Well,
conference call.
Well, yeah. and whoever was on your street, they could pick up too, and you could all just talk. And that was so. You're talking about what technology that's 60 or 70 years old? Is that what this?
No, it was invented in the early 90s or the late 80s.
So people communicate using internet.
Yes, it's an infinite number of people, actually.
That's weird because the only way that I can see that happening is like a lot of string and a lot of like tin cans. I feel like that would take up a lot of room.
There is some string and tin cans involved somewhere along the line.
I heard that back on the British Isles, they had towers, and they would reflect light from each tower to another tower, and it's kind of a primitive telegraph, so that way they could send messages up the Isles.
It was like an older text message.
That's like the new thing that came out, like Morse code, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And
Morse code's also actually been... Yeah, the new thing, Morse code.
Yeah, so you could just be like... all right, so I live in London, Kobe lives in Glasgow, so we'll flash messages at each other to tell them that...
what's up?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, how's the weather, etc.
Yeah.
Okay,
rainy.
So the internet is like that.
Okay.
All of those things, actually.
Okay.
Nice.
Because you can go to whatever website you want. Have you guys heard of a website? Site is the key word here.
Yes. I'll just say yes right now because I want to know more about this internet.
Right. Have you ever seen old futuristic movies where there's video phones?
I have, and I actually, whenever I saw those movies, I was always like, who would want this technology? Because
it seemed overwhelming.
Well, no, if people could just video phone me, they would just be like, hey, Graham, what's up? And they'd see me they'd be like, it's obvious you've been lying down.
They'd probably see you like cloaked in a dimly lit room,
right?
With like 4chan in the background.
Exactly. Haven't showered in a couple days, like beer cans strewn all over the place. Mm-hmm. I don't want
anybody to dial you up and see that.
No.
Yeah.
So, the internet isn't quite like that either, although you can use it that way. The internet is a visual communication network that extends all over the world. Anybody can go to a cell phone service provider or an internet service provider and have access to the internet.
Okay.
And you can meet all your family and friends on the internet as well as strangers.
And I could talk to them at any time?
Anytime that both of you are connected.
Could they talk to me at any time?
Yes.
That's awful.
Well.
But go on.
It is awful.
So yeah, we had the... Now, like I was saying, every time I see someone write something like global intelligence, and this is not a new idea, I just remember that I was at one point writing about this too, and I'm jealous of their success because I wish I had more get up and go.
You could be ahead of the curve by now.
Right, yeah, I could point to the articles that I published in 2009 or whatever and be like, no, see, like,
Yeah, like usual, all you guys are fucking up, like, real bad, and I was the awesome, cool one who got it right, like, 4 years before everybody else.
Right, exactly. It's like,
and I don't even believe what I was saying, but I still said what you guys are trying to say.
I was just taking drugs and writing, but I happened to come to a conclusion before you did, and the only reason you were able to come to the same conclusion was because at this point it's painfully obvious that whatever conclusion I was trying to reach, was actually
apparent.
Yeah, it was actually happening. And that's.
Well, what do you think about the global consciousness?
I think there's definitely something to the idea that that when people get connected in a very sort of rapid, responsive, and immersive way, like you see with various digital communication technologies, there's something going on there that hasn't been going on at any other time in the history of the species, and it is kind of like its own sort of it's kind of like its own neural network, and people say that in the future, we're going to have a sort of a global neural network, but I think that's going on right now. It's maybe more primitive than it might be later down the road, but like at this current point in time, my brain is not contained solely within my head. It's not contained solely within my notebooks or anything like that. It's out there.
You're saying you're interfaced.
Yes.
You're very much a part of the network, and
Yeah.
it's part of you.
And my thoughts, they don't just exist in my head. They also exist in the cloud somewhere created by Google. They can, in some cases, when I decide to make them public, they can be
Copied and taken and transmitted.
And commented on and refined and stuff like that. It's all very quick sort of thing. And the difference between this and other types of communication technologies is that we had these other capabilities. They were just a little bit slower. And that's not a trivial difference. Like, speed, in this case, does matter. The fact that I can...
Let's say I see some fucked up shit at the nearest Walmart or something. Like, I see a cop pepper spray, tase, and shoot like a 7-year-old Native American disabled boy.
Right.
Or transgendered child. And I post that to YouTube or other video sharing sites, and it goes viral. And in an instant, or in maybe an hour, people in fucking India, are watching this and saying, look at this American pig,
Mm-hmm.
There's global outrage.
Yeah, but I think it's important to, I think the mistake that people have made historically is associating an increase in technological proficiency and communication capabilities with an increase in humaneness.
Humanity,
And so people thought the same thing in the late 1800s. They looked all around them. Now we invented the telegraph. We have increases in literacy. We have a more educated public. More people were going to school. More people, were informed. And
did that keep bad things from happening?
We still had World War I. We still had the Great Depression. We still had, and all the terrible things that followed it. So I do think that there is
1900s.
The entirety of the 1900s still did happen, and maybe were made worse because we had more technology available to us. So I do think that this whole sort of whatever's going on with people on the internet, I think it is a definite change in our basic sort of biological functioning. But
you wouldn't get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to necessarily be better, more progressive or more humane people because of and maybe one day the opposite might be the case.
Where we'll be worse.
Yeah. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, okay.
Today was Black Friday. I was reading earlier that Black Friday didn't actually save people any money, and this was news to me. I've made it all my 25 years without being concerned with
deals
or sales or any of that other stuff. And I always assumed that it must be true that when people go out on these sort of shopping frenzies, they must be saving money. I just assumed that because I guess deep down I'm an optimist.
You think that corporations and companies are telling people the truth?
No, that the people were actually acting in their
own self-interest.
Exactly. So these people must be saving some money. It turns out that's not actually the case. And for most shopping experiences, the whole Black Friday thing doesn't net you any great savings. So then it's like, what are people actually getting out of this whole deal?
Well, it's dangerous and fun and exciting because in 2008, a Walmart employee was trampled to death. People stormed the doors of a Long Island Walmart. Mm-hmm. Before 5 in the morning. They were waiting that early in the morning to get in. But besides that, every year it's a whole circus. You have today in Texas, somebody who was waiting in line at Walmart got punched in the face and then he pulled a handgun.
Mm-hmm.
Was not charged.
Was not charged because he was licensed to carry it.
And rightfully so, yeah.
He was attacked and he didn't even fire. He practiced restraint, gun control.
Absolutely.
Use both hands, practice restraint. And that's the way things should be. The way things shouldn't be is maybe people having a melee and biting each other over a phone deal in a Georgia Walmart.
People climbing over each other for towels in a Walmart.
But this is, I look at it as these people are infected. Their soul is sick with capitalism.
Yeah.
they've been told this is the best deal. In fact, I watched the video of the sort of riot / fight over phones in Georgia, and there was it was becoming viral. So there was a fucking phone ad on the YouTube video before I was allowed to watch the video.
Wow.
Although, on the other hand, I did see video. Well, first of all, there's protests against Walmart, how the low wages they pay their workers.
Well, and also the fact that they were having their workers show up on Thursday. You know,
Right,
it wasn't even
Thursday
Black
night.
Friday. It was just still Thanksgiving. And that to me was more offensive. I mean, because if you're talking about consumerism, a certain percentage of Americans are always going to act like consumerist boobs. But if you're talking about, you know, the boss calling you up and telling you have to show up at 8 p.m. on Thanksgiving
to make $7.25 an hour.
Yeah, and it's kind of like is absolutely nothing sacred. You know, you can't even have 12 or 16 hours of holiday time.
Or a week. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, in some countries, just over the holidays, they might have a week or two. I mean, we're still the only country with no guaranteed vacation.
Yeah, and that's kind of one of those things like when you say stuff like that, America has no guaranteed vacation. You just say it and it just makes you depressed, and there's nothing like, yeah, this has just been this way. We never improved on it.
Yeah, well, America has no guarantees. You might just have a total life of just total rat fuck existence. They call that the land of opportunity.
Yeah,
That's how they spin it.
Yeah,
but
wasn't Obama? He was talking in a recent speech about how
is he discussing rat fucking?
I believe that was one of his campaign platforms, and he said if you get here, you can have a life.
Right, you
know,
can make it.
You can make it. It's not like you're gonna have a good life. It's not like you're gonna have prosperity or riches to bequeath to your descendants, but you can hold on.
And he mentioned whether you're black or white or gay or straight.
Doesn't matter.
Exactly.
We'll pay you as little as we can. You know, we're not racists.
No,
You're not getting any of our money. You know, and it's and that's all we can offer you is the ability to work 60 hours a week, and maybe, just maybe, if you grasp in with your fingernails, you won't just slide into utter destitution. And that is allegedly the American way. And this is all new to me. I wasn't aware that this is what people thought was okay until I was 20-something years old. And that's what I have to say about Black Friday.
The dark day.
Yeah.
It was a dark day.
I don't know, man. I got 4 shirts and a tie for like $86.
Oh, that's right. We went out earlier. I got some good deals too.
Not bad.
Yeah, it was fantastic, actually.
Yeah.
Great time.
I'm probably going to go next year.